¿Te imaginas abandonar un proyecto en el que llevas trabajando 13 años? Esta es la decisión que tuvo que tomar un youtuber llamado Leyend of Total War, y él mismo nos dio una entrevista para hablar del tema. Esta historia nos lleva por temas de derechos del consumidor, activismo en los videojuegos, incompetencia por parte de las compañías, así como esas decisiones difíciles que tenemos que tomar en nuestra vida. Así que quédate un rato y escucha.
Legend of Total War here with a new Medieval 2 Total War campaign series. The Peasant Challenge!
Si eres fan de los juegos de Total War, entonces ya lo conoces. Legend of Total War es un creador de contenido y youtuber que se ha ganado su nombre. Desde hace 13 años nos ha enseñado estrategias insuperables y, por supuesto, a cómo abusar de la inteligencia artificial del juego.
Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a saving and disaster battle playing as the Cult of Sigmar, going up against Ironbrow's expedition.
Si estás enterado de este legendario youtuber, también sabes que planea retirarse en poco tiempo. Así es. Leyend se prepara para despedirse de su principal fuente de ingresos y del canal que le ha llevado 13 años construir. Entre las tantas razones que Leyend nos da para su prematuro retiro, es el cansancio que siente por la manera en que Creative Assembly ha manejado la franquicia de Total War. Para poner las cosas en contexto, malas decisiones por parte de Sega, que es el publisher, y de Creative Assembly, han llevado a la saga a un lugar muy oscuro del que apenas ha logrado salir. Basta mencionar que debido a una serie de movimientos rechazados profundamente por la mayoría de la comunidad, Creative Assembly pidió disculpas públicamente, redujo el precio de uno de sus juegos y prometió cambiar la filosofía de la compañía. Todo esto fue logrado gracias a que los fans dejaron reseñas negativas en el juego, a que influencers denunciaron la falta de calidad y aumento en el precio de las últimas sagas de Total War y otras acciones. Este evento por sí mismo es también uno de los pocos ejemplos que existen en la industria de los videojuegos de un movimiento de protesta exitoso. ¿Cuántas veces no hemos escuchado de llamadas para castigar o sabotear tal o cual juego? Assassin's Creed Shadows fue amenazado con ser cancelado por Yosuke y terminó siendo un éxito. Hubo también un llamado a sabotear Hogwarts Legacy para no hacer llegar más dinero a los bolsillos de J.K. Rowling. Por supuesto, el juego es sumamente popular. Es por eso que es tan sorprendente esta historia. El caso de Total War es uno de los pocos en los que los fans decidieron organizarse para hacer un cambio y lo lograron. Desafortunadamente, este no es el final de los problemas de Creative Assembly, todo lo contrario. En el caso de su juego más popular, Total War Warhammer 3, los errores y problemas se apilan uno sobre otro y los consumidores están preocupados, específicamente por las intenciones de la compañía por crear nuevo contenido descargable antes de reparar problemas existentes.
What was in the end the thing that broke you, like the constant fight and the idea that nothing is going to change?
To be honest, I've been broken for a while. I mean, you could really point at so many things and go, that was the thing, and it really is all of them combined. It was just too much baggage that it just didn't seem worth it anymore. It really did begin, I think, at the launch of Total War Warhammer 3, and there's been good times and bad times since then. But I think overall, it's been more bad than good. And with this latest bug, I realized that I wasn't really interested in the game anymore. And they're marketing now for this DLC, and I just being honest with myself, I realized I just don't care anymore. And so it was a decision that, should I fake it just for the sake of making money, or should I go and see what else is out there and find greener pastures? And I decided with that option. You just got to ask yourself what's more important, making money or doing something that you actually like. because that's been the big question for me for a long time, because it has been mutually exclusive. Like when I first started, it was I'm making money and I'm enjoying it. But really for the past 4 years, it has been I'm making money, but I'm not enjoying it. Within the Total War scene, things have not been great for a while, and I just sort of got tired of waiting for things to get better. I mean, streamers talk about mental health all the time, and it's kind of a meme, but there's a degree of like insanity that occurs, I guess, when you're trying to just make gameplay videos, but I'm constantly having to like get involved in these big fights against the developers just because I just need the game to be good. That's the only thing I need, right? And like I never want to do any of these fights. I just want the game to be good and just play it. So I'm constantly in these fights that I don't want to do, and it just seems like never ever getting any real progress. I understand there are a lot of people that do appreciate it, but to be honest, every time I do one of these things, like right after some change happens, what ends up happening afterwards is there's a consequence afterwards that people don't see that I have to deal with, which is the spreading of like a degree of misinformation who mischaracterize what the movement was, and they basically rewrite history, and then I have to deal with that for an extremely long amount of time, and it feels like basically the community spitting in my face after this kind of stuff happening. And if it happens just once, it's tolerable. But when it happens over and over and over again, it's just you just get sick of it.
Yeah, you already hinted that you are not like going away from the internet.
Well, I don't know at this stage. Just I don't want to commit to anything. That's why I'm being vague about it. Because if I say I'm definitely coming back and then I don't come back, people will feel like I lied to them. The truth is we don't have it set in stone right now. I'm most likely going to continue being a YouTuber, but I don't know for certain.
And there's also something to be said about this, like I don't know how to call it, like movements, like uh, because it is fan base, people organizing to do a change in the industry that they want to see, and that rarely works. And but it worked here with the Pharaoh and the last changes that CA made.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Um, it depends on how you look at it. Ultimately, the only thing that actually works is voting with your wallet. Um, outrage can affect the wallet of the developer by negative PR. But if they've got a scenario where they're providing content and there's a lot of outrage, but people are still buying it, then that has proven in the past to be completely ineffective. Like money is the key decider as to whether or not the developers are going to bend to any sort of pressure or not. The younger generations are less interested in picking up Total War than they used to be. They do seem to be more pro corporate and are more susceptible to dodgy marketing tactics and over monetization of a product, as opposed to the older generations, I guess like myself, that are, we remember the days where you went and bought a disc at a store and the game had to actually work, or else you just take the disc back to the store and get a refund. But that isn't the case these days, where games can be shipped out in a pretty terrible state, and that's just the game. Um, so the standards overall across the board have slipped quite significantly. This is a big problem within the gaming industry, but it's also one that is starting to self-correct itself now a little bit, because we're seeing big companies release games with $100 to $200 million budget that are still selling like 1 million copies, but they're not selling enough in order to break even. And we're seeing smaller developers that are releasing games that cost a fraction of that are just fully like refreshed engines. They're just well-contained games with not going with like these over monetization policies and bad business practices. And because we're starting to see a resurgence of like better development, the other big corporations that have had the markets cornered for such a long time, they are now actually getting competed out of the market. They're losing their market share.
Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a saving a disaster situation playing as Sylvania, where we're going up against Elspeth von Draken.
Everybody is going to operate in what they believe is going to be in their best interests. So if a YouTuber believes it is not in their best interests to rise up and fight against Creative Assembly, they're not going to do that. Now, I was of the opinion that it was actually in my best interest to do so. I've been proven wrong, basically.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so unfortunately, my tale is a tale of caution. People are not going to be incentivized to follow in my footsteps, because it will only lead to disaster, like it has with me. It's a tale of caution. So you will probably not get another me within the Total War community. The community will get the creators that they want. It's really that simple. It's basically like supply and demand. I rose to success because it seemed as though people wanted a YouTuber that was bold, rude, and really just didn't kowtow to the developers. But that is not the climate now. There are still people that want that, but the demand is diminishing, and a different demand is showing up, and YouTubers like me are getting phased out, which is just part of the natural cycle of a online ecosystem, or any kind of market ecosystem.
Do you think that should be more content creators, more journalists, more players that are not docile, that are not just feeding on the hand that gives
Well,
up?
it's not really a case of should there be more people like that. It's really a case of, is there the demand for it? Because if people cry out for YouTubers like that, then YouTubers like that will appear. And if they don't want YouTubers like that will disappear, which is what's happening. Typically within the Total War community, just seeing a massively decreased demand in someone like me, which is fine. That's just the natural order of things.
What do you want? What do you think should be happening?
What do I want?
Uh-huh.
It's actually real simple. I'd love to just play a game that I really enjoy and make a lot of money. That's great. But if I can't do both, then I need to have one. I definitely will not do it for neither, if that makes sense. It really comes down to this. The main reason why I fight for these sort of things is because I did believe it was in my best interests. I've come to the realization that it actually, in the grand scheme of things, wasn't. Every time I've done a petition or fought against Creative Assembly, it's always been with the goal of, I want the game to be more enjoyable so that my content can be more enjoyable. And I always understood that the people who followed me didn't really want to watch me go on a crusade against Creative Assembly, but that wasn't, doing the crusade was not the goal. The goal was always the content and the game. And so when you say things like, need more YouTubers like me, or people like me who are going to, speak up for the consumer, that does not seem like it is likely. It seems like you're going to see fewer people like me, because I've been heavily suppressed. Mm-hmm. It's not been a fun thing to do. The incentive for me to do it has been extremely low, and also the outcomes have been, even when successful, have been below expectations, put it that way. I do not like fighting against Creative Assembly. I don't enjoy it at all. I never have. You got to keep in mind as well that Creative Assembly is not a human being. Creative Assembly is a corporation. It's got various different people that are managing different things. So there are actually people at Creative Assembly that would be willing to argue constantly, but they're not in positions that they can argue. So people usually advocate for their job to either be easier for themselves or to to further their career. So in regard to me, like, arguing against the partner program, for example, if you're working at the partner program, you want to make your job as easy as possible. And so you've got a YouTuber who is making your job very difficult. And so the easiest thing for you to do is get rid of that YouTuber. So I understand how we got to this point. I just don't have any respect for it. And if you're going to argue the point that a certain company is behaving badly, you can't make that point by behaving badly. So you've got to hold yourself to a higher standard than what they're holding themselves to. And unfortunately, it's just gone nowhere.
Es triste ver a Legend of Total War partir. Primero, porque más de una vez sus videos me han hecho empezar una nueva campaña de Warhammer 3. Pero sobre todo, porque la industria de los videojuegos cambió radicalmente en los últimos años. Y hoy, más que nunca, necesitamos estas comunidades y estos comunicadores y creadores de contenido que alcen la voz por los consumidores. Si te gustan este tipo de videos y quieres apoyar al periodismo independiente, suscríbete al canal y dale click a la campanita. Yo soy Hans Leguizamo y hasta la próxima.